Good morning, students. This is Pramod Joy, your computer science teacher. And today we are going to discuss about unit number 2, computer networks. And this unit number 2 is for 15 marks. And this unit number 2 contains two chapters, chapter number 11 and chapter number 12. And for the time being, we are going to discuss about the chapter number 11, computer networks. Starting from the definition of the computer network. What do you mean by a computer network, or what do you mean by a network? Network is an interconnected collection of autonomous computers. I repeat, network is an interconnected collection of autonomous computers. That means more than one or two computers are connected. You can call it as a network. You can call it as a computer network. Now the question is, why there is such a networking? What's the need of computer networking, or what are the advantages of computer networking? And these are the advantages, and they are resource sharing, for reliability, cost factor, and as a communication medium. We are using these computer networks. We are just connecting the computer network for this all uses. Components of a computer network, or in other terms, elementary terms related with the computer network. One such term is nodes, otherwise known as workstations, otherwise known as clients, otherwise known as terminals, etc. Computers that are attached to a network, they are called nodes or workstations or terminals or clients. Other term, server. What do you mean by a server? A computer that facilitates the sharing of data or software or hardware resources on the network is termed as server. Servers can be classified mainly into two based on the role played by the server, role played by the computer. And they are non-dedicated server and dedicated server. For example, in the case of a small network, a workstation that can double up as a server is known as non-dedicated server, since it is not completely dedicated to the cost of serving. And the networks using such a server are known as peer-to-peer network. Now the dedicated server. On a bigger network, there is a computer reserved for server's job, and its only job is to help workstation to access data, software, and hardware resources. Such a server is called dedicated server. The networks using such a server are known as master slave or client server network. The servers can be again classified based on the job it performs. And the servers can be classified mainly into three. They are file server, printer server, modem server. Now the explanation of file server, printer server, and modem server. A server exclusively for serving file related requests like storing files, deciding about their access privileges, and regulating the amount of space allowed for each user is known as file server. Printer server. Printer server takes care of the printing requirements of a number of workstations. Now modem server. Modem server helps a group of network users use a modem to transmit long distance messages. Now the third classification of networks. The computer network can be classified again based on the geographical area. Networks are classified in the basis of geographical spread, and on this basis there can be four types of networks, and they are LAN, MAN, WAN, and PAN. Now the explanation of LAN, MAN, WAN. Small computer networks that are confined to a localized area are known as LANs. MANs are the network spread over a city. The networks spread across countries are known as WANs. The largest WAN in existence is the internet. So local area network, metropolitan area network, wide area network. PAN, a small network of communication capable devices within a range of reachability of an individual person, is known as PAN. personal area network. This range is typically up to 10 meters. And an example for a PAN is Bluetooth. Now, how to differentiate between this LAN and WAN, local area network and wide area network. In the case of local area network, the diameter of not more than few kilometers. That means the LAN can spread not more than a few kilometers. But in the case of WAN, it spans the entire countries. Now in the case of LAN, a total data rate of at least several Mbps. But in the case of WAN, the data rate is less than 1 Mbps. Now again in the case of LAN, complete ownership by a single organization. But in the case of WAN, owned by multiple organizations. Now error rates. In the case of LAN, very low error rates. But in the case of WAN, comparatively higher error rates. How to differentiate between client server and peer-to-peer network. In the case of client server network, the server controls the security of the network. But in the case of peer-to-peer network, no central control over security. In the case of client server, the server manages the network, needs a dedicated team of people to manage the server. But in the case of peer-to-peer network, no central control over the network. Anyone can set up. In the case of client server, clients are dependent on the server. But in the case of peer-to-peer network, clients are not at all dependent on the server. Now in the case of client server, data is all backed up on the main server. But in the case of peer-to-peer, each computer has to be backed up.